This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, and verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. And double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, who I learned this truth from. And peace and salutations to the elect that are scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this truth in sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking their life for freedom to do so. This is your brother Ishiar from the GMS Cleveland Church. And I'm back with another lesson, Lord willing. It is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. Alright, and this is nothing but confusion right here, man. What this Israelite man did, okay, or perceives to be an Israelite man, alright, he looks like a Jake, southern kingdom to be exact, a Judite, so-called Negro. What he did was actually a righteous thing. Okay, what he did was really a righteous action. Okay, because what the woman did was completely wicked, and it was an abomination. All right, it says a man from Colorado was sentenced to 57 years in prison after he shot and deleted his wife of 10 years and her cousin. Right now, the cousin, I'm not sure why. Okay, but nobody's innocent in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Okay, so she, whoever the cousin was, the Lord had it out for them too. All right, but why did it happen? It said this happened after he, right, the guy on the left, learned he was not the biological father of one of their children. Right, so he ended up deleting the bitch, and rightfully so, man. Like I just said, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Right. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He didn't spare her, right? He had to. It was like when the Israelite man, right? This is where the law of jealousy comes into play, right? When the Israelite man finds out, right, and the Israelite man can tell when his woman has stepped out on him, right? Because you have something called an intuition, which is really the spirit revealing it to you, right? The Lord will show you signs, and your discernment will be on another level when you find out that your woman, your wife, has stepped out. Okay, because when she steps out, all right, meaning she commits adultery with another man, right, and that man's supposed to be put to death too, right? They're both supposed to be put to death. But when a woman steps out and commits adultery with another man, his spirit, okay, that man's spirit is transferred onto her, man. And you can tell by the way a woman operates, man. You see, and and she, the scriptures also say, how the woman, she wipes her mouth and says she has done no wickedness. Okay, meaning she didn't hold herself accountable. She probably kept blaming the man, for his lack of time and effort. That's why she stepped out on him and all this bullshit, man. And this man probably got fed up with it, and he just deleted the bitch, man. Because remember, when a man, for jealousy is the rage of a man. And in the time of vengeance, he will not spare. So you have something called blackout moments, right? Jake will black out, or any man will black out, all right, when they find out their woman of 10 years. Okay, it ain't got to be 10 years, man. It could be a short period of time when they find out this bitch has stepped out. Jake is irate. Jake is agitated. He's vexed. And, the Lord will put a spirit on certain men to delete the woman, man. And rightfully so, man. So let's see what it says. It says a Colorado man who shot his estranged wife and her cousin hours after being informed he was not the biological father of one of their children, was ordered last week to serve almost 6 decades in prison. And this goes on in the Israelite communities, specifically so-called black community, so-called Negro, right? These women, Okay, they don't know who the biological father is, man, of their children. You see, and Jake is not. And Jake, you gotta start taking so-called DNA tests when a baby arrives, man, just to make sure it's yours, man. Don't be, then you don't take the test, then you find out years later, right? However years later, 18 years later, or 12, however many years later, you find out the kid ain't yours, man. Take the test ahead of time, man. You see, because these women, they have the liberty to gather abroad, like the scripture says, man. And she opened her mouth as every thirsty, as every thirsty traveler, man. See what I'm saying? She openeth her quiver to every arrow, man. These women don't know who the fuck the father of their children is, man. They said it was something on here on Instagram I had seen a couple days ago. They said sometimes when the child comes out not looking like either one of the parent, 9 times out of 10 it looks like the last man she was dealing with, or whoever, one of the men she was dealing with. Why? Because that man's semen is still within her, man. It's called microchimerism, man. When women sleep with multiple men, all that DNA that's left in them from those men, it's left inside of them, man, forever. You see? So this man found out that one of the children wasn't his. Okay? Now I'm not sure how many children it was. All right, but let's keep reading. It says Kellen Lewis, 34, received a 42-year sentence in Adams County Court on Friday for second-degree murder, a 10-year sentence for second-degree attempted murder, and an additional 5 years for tampering with evidence, 57 years collectively, and that's unrighteous, man. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, deems that a crime for fulfilling the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, man. You see, you have something called a crime of passion, right? You can look that up, where Jake blacks out in the midst of the moment, okay, when he finds out that the woman has, you come home from work, you find a man's shoes by the door, or whatever, you catch him in the midst of adultery. Jacob Black, you have some men that black out, and he'll delete both of them, man. So it's called a crime of passion, and it's actually a law, man. You see, because you lose, you're not in the right state of mind. Well, actually, you are. Esau says you're not in the right state of mind, but actually you are, because why? You're fulfilling the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. You're supposed to put the adulteress, right, the woman, and the adulterer, you're supposed to delete them. But when you delete them in this society, you got to serve 57 years, man. That's unrighteous, man. Okay? See, Esau, Edom, that's how we know that United States of America is Mystery Babylon the Great. Because this land was so-called established on Judeo-Christian beliefs, but they don't follow anything that the law, statutes, and commandments say. If they did, this man would have been set free, man. Okay? He'd be walking around, living his normal life, man. But now he has to serve 57 years. So he'll get out when he's 91. You see? And this place is going to be destroyed, man, by the end. Okay? But let's keep saying this. Let's keep reading. It says, a jury found him guilty of these accounts and others in February. Lewis was arrested by police 36 hours after he broke into his estranged wife's, Aurora, apartment on February 9th, 2024, and shot both women. According to details in his arrest affidavit, Dion Janae, a ratchet-ass name, right, McCain, his estranged wife, and her cousin, Patrice Little, were braiding one another's hair at the time, right? So let's look up this word estranged real quick, all right? Let's look this up. Come on, man. I don't want this to delete. So I'm gonna keep reading, man. All right. Let me see if I can actually copy and paste. Probably not. But let's keep reading. It says Lewis had moved out of the apartment 3 months earlier, according to the report. He and McCain were the parents of a young child and had recently divorced, although the marriage was determined to not be legally binding during those divorce proceedings. See, this is why Yahweh Shah said, there was no divorce, when the Lord created man and woman. You see what I'm saying? I think that he mentioned the law of Moses, but because of because of your stiff neckness, and the Lord, you know, I could be misquoting it, but nevertheless, man, divorce, you know, there's no such thing as divorce, man. Okay, there's no such thing as divorce. If a woman separates from a man, he puts her away. Okay, that doesn't mean he puts her away. I mean, she's to remain celibate. Okay, until that man pretty much reignites the spark. Okay, she's not to go off and deal with no other man. Even with King David and King Saul's daughter, he put her away. You know, and did she go and sleep with another man? No. You see, but in this society, you divorce a woman, guess what she's able to do? Go and sleep with another man. You see what I'm saying? That's called adultery, man. You see, and this is why Yahweh Shah said this is a wicked and adulterous generation, because everybody's sleeping with each other, man. Okay. But it says according to a press release from the 17th Judicial District Attorney's Office, McCain had texted Lewis earlier that day to tell him he was not the father of McCain's youngest child. So she texted him. She didn't have the heart to sit down and have a conversation with him, because why? She knew her life was going to be on the line. So what happened? Later, you receive a text message, right, and your woman telling you, "Hey, man, you're not the father of so and so." How do you think the Israelite man is gonna feel, man? You see? How do you think he's gonna be logical, man? How much time and money he done invested in this child? How much emotions he done put in this child? You think he's not gonna fucking spaz? See, a lot of you women, when all hell breaks loose and Esau Edom's police force is not out there to protect you, these men that you fuck around with and try to get over on, they're gonna come in. You're on their what is it called, Naruto? You're on the bingo list, man. Right? Bingo meaning pretty much you're on their to delete list. Okay? Because what you do is cause mental trauma and pain to the Israelite man. You see, they say, it's a quote. They say a man sacrifices his happiness for his family. A woman sacrifices her family for her happiness. You see, and that's a true saying. Okay? These women are all about themselves, man. All right? They don't even care about their own children. The scriptures tell you about how the ostrich deals with the children. All right? So let me finish reading this. It says, later that day, Lewis forced his way into the apartment to confront McCain. Lewis, per the DA's office, and the arrest affidavit said to McCain, "You think this was a game?" Quote unquote. And fired once at McCain's head, McCain told investigators. McCain then stated she dropped to the floor and pretended to be dead. Goofy ass bitch. From that position, she saw Little move in front of Lewis. McCain then told investigators she heard 4 or 5 gunshots, and Little fell to the floor next to her, suffering obvious wounds to her face and bleeding badly. Lewis then left the apartment, and McCain called 911. McCain is who is McCain again? Oh, McCain is the hold on. So Lewis is the man. McCain is the woman. All right. So once again, it says later that day, Lewis forced his way into the apartment to confront McCain. Right. Per the DA's office, the arrest Davis said to McCain, "You think this was a game?" So that's what he told her. And fired once at McCain's head, and McCain told investigators she pretended to be dead. From that position, she saw Little move in front of Lewis, who was about to storm like a Salaki. It says from that position, she saw Little move in front of Lewis, right? So the guy Lewis, right, moved in front of Little. And who is Little? I believe Little is the cousin. Okay? Yep. Little is the cousin. So Little McCain then told investigators she heard 4 or 5 gunshots, and Little fell to the floor next to her, suffering obvious wounds to her face and bleeding badly. That's jealousy, man. No, that's the rage of a man. He will not spare the day of vengeance. Bitch, don't step in. So mind your own fucking business. MYOB, mind your own business, man. You're trying to stop the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and guess what? You now you gotta feel this fire. You gotta feel this fire. You see? Fire. So it says Lewis then left the apartment and McCain called 911. Per the affidavit, Lewis had believed the child was his and he had cared for the child since birth. All four of McCain's children, ages 9, 5, 4, and 3, were inside the apartment at the time of the shooting. At the end of Lewis's trial, the jury also convicted him of 4 counts of misdemeanor child abuse, man. So the chick, her friend, lost her life. Okay. And so see, this is kind of misleading because it says he killed both of them, but she was able to call the police. So, but nevertheless, look at what the men are saying. Free him. Women love to say men are no good to prove them wrong. Situation in paternity court, and you will see who is no good. Men are saying not mad at him, kind of valid. Look at all these men. I don't blame them. I don't agree with women falsely pinning children on man. However, killing her was extreme. He should have just chunked up the deuce and moved on. No, she gotta be put to death. Free that man. The way y'all got the story incorrect. The wife is alive and well. This, however, is the cousin he killed. Rest in peace, baby girl. Ain't no rest in peace, man. You see, she wasn't innocent. And then if the woman, his wife, his estranged wife, so-called, the mother of his children, if she's still alive, the Lord is saving her for the 4 sword judgments that's mentioned in Jeremiah 4, right? Or the missiles. You see, you're not going to escape death, okay? You're not going to escape the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for the actions that you've done, okay? For the breaking of the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, she lying, she dying, right? Okay, did he shoot and kill the wife or not? No, he just the F ninja. All right, get out of here, man. This is the worst news to get, but you got to control your temper. Because once he has time to reflect, he going to wish he did things differently, and he should have only got 10 years, in my opinion, right? He shouldn't have got any years, but nevertheless, this guy's right, man. To control your temper. Control your temper. Okay, and I'm speaking to you, Israelite men. Don't let these women get under your skin. Don't let them agitate you. I had seen that today on the freeway. I remember I just did a lesson yesterday on protect your peace. You see, and then I seen a car today with the license plate that said agitate. You see, so you don't let these things agitate you, man, and cause you to lose your salvation, man. You see. So it said nigga got 57 years in prison behind a woman's action. A fucking goofy. You niggas gonna learn how to control your emotions one way or another. Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. You see? But nevertheless, was he going off? I mean, yeah, he was going off in this society. Okay. But was he going off to the odds of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua? No. He's actually justified, man. You see? Ain't no killing. Ain't killing no bit that ain't trying to kill me. Valid. I mean, ... That's good for her. Y'all keep up the good city girl activity. Alright. Women out here play stupid games. This one won the stupid prize. He should have got probation or house arrest. Sucks to be him. Should have just left, and this comes from a woman. You see? But nevertheless, man, this is the place of confusion, man. Alright? You women, you're in for a rude awakening when all hell breaks loose, man. And you women that got Israelite men, okay, and you know that you're Israelites, you better take heed to these men. Because these men, alright, are precious in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. You step out on your man, alright, hey, best believe the Lord is going to fuck you up, man. Alright, so I'm going to close out. Lord willing, this is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. And double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Kwan Yashar Allah Shalom wa Abba.